Hey, everybody, this is Dave Farver from SuperJam, and you're listening to the Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
This is beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats, scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot, could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, hanging out on Zoom tonight with Dave Farver.
What's up? How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm glad to be here hanging with you. Well, this is our first time officially meeting, I believe, man. We kind of run in the same circles. I know we've been in the same room several times, but we don't really get a chance to sit and talk or properly introduce myself sometimes, but because usually it's a loud rock and roll show. And
right. I think I've seen you at Broadway Oyster Bar before.
Yeah. I frequent there all the time, quite a bit, as when we were allowed to, gather and have good times down there.
Right.
But yeah, I worked there. I was an employee there for 5 years until the pandemic and everything hit. So
yeah, I'm sure we ran into each other.
Yeah. But so this was fun about this show, and obviously having Zoom is an option now too, and we can sit and talk and get to know a little bit more about what you've been up to and stuff. I know we just dropped a brand new solo EP.
That's right.
I wanted to kind of get and pick your brain about that a little bit, but I guess I want to kind of start back at the beginning, though, get to know a little bit more about Dave. And have you always been here in St. Louis, Dave?
Actually, I grew up around Cape Girardeau in a little town called Jackson, just north of Cape Girardeau. I graduated high school there, and then I went to SEMO for college at Cape Girardeau. And then I came up here about 1990 and just started trying to knock on doors and play open mics and get to know people. And, so slowly but surely I started getting into the scene a little bit, playing with different people. I went to college with Daryl, who played drums on the EP, Daryl Whited. He was in the Sliders. He was in Lex Luthor in the 90s. He's been a fixture around town and just a friend of mine since way back when. And so, yeah, we went to college together, and then he got me started in a band or two when I came up here. And I had some kids and played in wedding bands and just whatever I could get my hands on just to make some money and play. And I did day jobs too, just to make ends meet. But I've always played, almost every weekend. Yeah,
man. Was always you and the saxophone, or did you play other instruments too? And
I was a utility guy. Like I would play keyboards sometimes too, and backup vocals and saxophone primarily. But right before I came up to St. Louis, I started singing lead more down in bands in Cape. And so when I got up here, I kind of started out that way. I just started out as a lead singer, saxophone player. So I haven't really played keys or guitar that much anymore. I just still do occasionally, but
right,
not my forte.
Would that start in a school band and stuff, or did parents introduce you to that? And
yeah, school band, and then I was in jazz band in high school, and you have those talent shows, pop concert they called it, and so one of the things we would do every year was the Pink Panther. I had a friend who played electric guitar, and we kind of did a rock and roll version of the Pink Panther, and I'd walk around in the audience and stuff, and it's funny because it's like nothing's changed. I'm doing the same thing in El Monstero, walking around in the club on the bar rail. So
yeah, that's one of my favorite parts, man. I love that when you get to do that, because it just you don't see a lot of it. You don't see a lot of people get to walk the room like that. But
I don't fall and bust my ass one of these times. Well, I already have a couple times, honestly, over the 20 years.
Yeah.
I think 3 times I've fallen. None of them have been, I didn't injure myself. Someone's always been nice enough to catch me. So.
Right. Yeah, man. Well, so you get to your St. Louis, and so I guess you've been pretty well active. You said since then, since getting to town, playing in some sort of weekend bands and stuff.
Weekend bands, and like I said, I had kids, so I would play in wedding bands because it was good money and it was steady. There was a band called Metro, and I played with Ralph Butler for a while, and I played with a band called Groove Thing. They play clubs, but they do a lot of privates. And so, I was primarily a horn player in those bands. But yeah. Ralph Butler is like a legend in St. Louis, and so I learned a lot from him. He's just a total pro, and just the way he put his show together, it was super slick from beginning to end. There were no stops, there was no gaps, there's no dead air. So, playing in his band, I learned a lot about how to put on a concise professional show.
Definitely, man. That what do you think? Like, did you learn anything in particular from a piece of advice or anything from playing with him or learning?
I'm trying to think if there was anything like that he said in particular. I mean, it was just a lot of fun to be around. He's entertaining no matter where he is, no matter what he's on. If he's just sitting around the dinner table, I mean, the guy is he's just nonstop. I can't think of anything in particular, but I mean, if he had a problem with something, he'd let you know about it right away. I mean, there was no sugarcoating it. It was like, bam,
Sometimes you got to appreciate some of that. Sometimes, it's like, sometimes it can kind of come off the wrong way, and not in the right setting or context. People can kind of get offended by it or, get a little sensitive to it. But I appreciate when somebody just tells me like, hey, look, this is how it is. Like, I don't like that or whatever.
Well, he knows what he's talking about. He's
right
on what should be done, So, I mean, at the time he was like the preeminent show in town. He was always doing the stuff at the Chase and, all the big ballrooms around town. And, if there was ever any stuff with the city or, any, the high rollers, they always called Ralph because they knew he would, put on a snazzy, slick show,
Yeah, man. Well, so let's talk about, I'm going to fast forward a little bit, but we got the solo EP you just put together.
Yeah.
And, I'm guessing these are all your originals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You wrote all these songs
over the course of like the last, 8 or 9 years, I guess. I kind of, when COVID hit, I was like, well, I've always wanted to spend some time on my original stuff. I'd never taken the time to hone it and get it done. Like some things didn't have a bridge and, they weren't complete. Some of them weren't complete. I had little demo ideas. Some were more complete than others. So I thought, well, I can't really play out. So I'm just going to spend the time and get these songs in shape and call some of my favorite musicians around town and see if they'd be interested. And so I sent them demos of stuff and they liked the material. And we went over to Obeid's house over near Westport. And he's got a really nice kind of a studio set up down there, a lot of analog gear and a lot of analog processing. So we played around with tape, but at the end of the day, it ended up being a digital recording with analog effects. So, we just kind of spent some time on the songs. Those guys had input on arrangements and some chord changes changed here and there, or Obeid would flesh out chords because I'm really a very, very basic chord player. I wrote half the stuff on a keyboard, half the stuff on a guitar, and it's just real basic bar chord kind of stuff. So he, just has a better ear. He's much more well-versed in fleshing those chords out, making them sound more interesting. So, and George is, a great bass player. He's been around. He's played with everybody. He was in King of the Hill, and he's been in every band in town. I don't know if you know George Potsos.
Yeah, I met George through Honey Tribe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where I first got to start seeing him play.
Sure. Devin Allman.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Actually, did I meet him? I might have met Devin through George. I'm not sure, but I did play a couple shows with him. He actually got to open up for Greg, his dad, at the pageant one night, and that was a thrill. Got to meet him, got to hang out backstage, and he was talking about how certain Selmer saxophones were made out of shell casings from the war, and that was something new. I'd never heard that. So he had a million things to tell us. He was, he's just a wise old man,
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty wild, man, to get to share the stage with him. Yeah. So obviously, what I was just wondering, like, I mean, as you're saying, like, this took you to this point to really kind of, you've been writing these songs, you said, over the last 8 years or something, but I just wondering why it took this long to really get together and write, put out an original record and stuff.
Honestly, I was so focused on making money because my kids, they've only recently, like my son just recently, not that recently, a couple of years ago, graduated from college. So that was always front and center, is like, I've got to keep the money coming in.
Sure.
So I really didn't feel justified because, I mean, working on original stuff, it just doesn't pay the vast majority of the time.
Right.
So it's really just an artistic pursuit. So this was the only time I felt like I could spend the time on it and give it the attention that it needed, because I was always booking shows and always trying to put another tribute band together or something to fill the holes and do stuff during the day. So it was just, you really got to beat the bushes to try to make a living playing music. So
yeah, it seems everybody's got like the original, the cover band and the original band, and like, and so on. Like they can do a duo, trio, full band, whatever,
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different group they can pull together. Like
the last original band I was in called Sun Sawed in Half. That was in the 90s, and my daughter was very young then, and so I did travel a little bit when she was a baby. We would go up to like Ann Arbor, Michigan, and down to Austin, Texas, and so it was really just Midwestern stuff. We weren't going overseas or anything crazy, but so I did a little bit of that at the beginning, and when one time we went to Ann Arbor, Michigan, we came back. We actually played with the Verve Pipe. I don't remember that band.
Oh yeah.
At one hit, we were freshmen. We were
freshmen. We were merely freshmen.
Yeah, we were in this Ticketmaster Yamaha Battle of the Bands thing, and we were all finalists. Like, we went from St. Louis to regional, Kansas City to, there was another national, and then we went to the big one somewhere in Texas, around Dallas-Fort Worth or something. And it was a Riverport type venue. And it was down to the 5 finalists, and Verve Pipe was one of the finalists. So they beat us out and they won. They went to Yamaha's private island and recorded their record and everything. So we were this close, to get that record deal type of thing. But
right.
Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, came back from Ann Arbor and my car was gone. I'm like, it was parked on the street in front of Tim Rose's house. It's like, where's my car, man? And his wife is like, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but this huge white truck came up the street, ran into your car, pushed it into the yard of the neighbors, backed up and kept going. And it was a little red VW Scirocco. I love that car. I'm still sad about it to this day, but it peeled up the side like a sardine can. I'm not even kidding you. It just curled the entire side, just ripped it and curled it up like a sardine can. It was sitting in my yard when I got home. I was just devastated. It's like, I'm screwed, I don't even have a car. I'm not making any money. So that was when I was like, I just gotta be in cover bands and make money. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I had to ride the bus, for a while because I had no transportation. I was working at St. Louis Music. They used to make crate amps and Ampeg and Alvarez guitars. And anyway, so I worked for them for 4 or 5 years, but I finally was able to buy a car. But
Yeah.
it was a bitch for a while there. People were nice to me and they would give me rides and stuff too. I didn't always have to ride the bus, but
I don't know. I guess all of it worked out though, because after all these, years of learning other people's material and everything, you had a lot of different influence you were able to pull from to bring together your own original record.
right.
And so Crystal is the name of the EP, available everywhere digitally you get music at today. And that's what I was kind of, when I pressed play on this, I'm like, what do I expect from a Dave Farver EP? You kind of done it all. I mean, we got SuperJam, you got, you're playing your rock and roll, you get to play a lot of pop stuff with mad beats, kind of
Right.
So I was wondering what influences you were going to kind of tap into to bring your own sound together. And it really, you get a little everything all on a CP. Like there's a lot of different sounds and a lot of different stuff going on, but there's a song, Pathologically, that I wanted to share. That was one of my favorites. It kind of almost has like a little reggae vibe to it, kind of a thing going on.
It's definitely a reggae beat, some of it sort of sounds sublime-ish. But yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Police fan, and they're very reggae and ska influenced. So so that might have been the impetus. I'm not sure. It's just, now Obeid wanted to turn it into a straight ahead rock song, of course. Obeid Khan, but I stuck to my guns. I'm like, no, man, I just think this thing has a better feel with the reggae thing, and Daryl is all over that. He's all over that. So so I like the way it came out. It's got heavy guitars, but it's got the lightness of the reggae beat.
Chance encounter at the makeup counter, Walgreens. We glanced away coolly at this midtown foolie, plaid jeans. No indication whatsoever this equation can ever be proven. You grabbed me by the hand just to make me understand we were moving. Can't get you off my mind, think about you all the time, pathologically. Don't need to know your sign, got my planets in a line, astrologically. I feel there's something here between us, and it can't be just our genus and species. I detect some hesitation, I'll show you my reputation is squeaky. Well, I know you hate my past, if you just give me a chance, I'm certain you'll be thrilled by my performance, you'll be standing for the final curtain. Let's have a little fun, you and I will become one, metaphysically. You have affinity for my kind, have a meeting of the mind, psychologically. Now we two, never be lonely, forever true, never be phony. Just me and you, against all the fakes and models on the makes. Chance we gotta take, yeah. Now that you've had my subtle flavor, is it something you could savor completely? Or is it more like a razor or a shock shot from a taser discreetly? Since you're such a doubting Thomas, I can make the solemn promise, my darling. You You and I make quite a pair. We'll be soaring through the air like starlings. I need you by my side, baby, let's go for a ride. Metaphorically, feeling my relevance, feeling my style, feeling my frequency across the dial. Subatomically. Now we two never be lonely, forever true, never be phony. Just me and you against all the fixing, the models, all the making, so chance we gotta take, yeah. Who'd have believed it'll ever conceive that? Somebody slap me, I'm too damn happy.
Yeah. Is that anything to do? Stories around those lyrics? Is that based on any true story or anything? Or
It's just kind of has to do with, we all get obsessed with someone, right? At some point in our life. And a lot of times you're playing a game, you're trying to entice the other person, like, maybe they don't right away take to you, right? But you're diligent and you pull out all the stops and you try to tell the best story about yourself and to try to get them to spend some time with you, right? So that's really what it's all about, trying to let a person know that you really are into them, that you really are interested in them without seeming creepy or, stalky.
yeah,
Like, oh, you really thought a lot about me, but hopefully it doesn't come off that way. It's more just about, being honest about the fact that you're obsessed with them. You know what I mean?
sure.
In a good way.
I liked the reference to the makeup counter in Walgreens. Nice shout out to Walgreens in there.
Right.
Yeah.
There's one on every corner. What are you going to do?
Yeah. No, I relate a lot to what you're saying though, because that's really like the gist of this show. Not necessarily like that I'm obsessed with anybody, but I've learned having a show makes it a lot easier to ask some of your favorite people to hang out because you don't seem as creepy. You're like, if I were to just say, hey, you want to come over to my house and sit and talk to me for an hour? It doesn't come off as well as when you have a show. So
Right. Yeah, you have a format. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So that's opens the door to a lot for me allows me to talk to a lot of my favorite people and makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, man.
Glad to do it.
So you've been a part of like I mentioned SuperJam, and that's your I guess that's pretty much your primary band. That's the main one that's most active right now.
Pretty much every weekend, and it's a drag because I wasn't able to. So we had a barn party, this really cool outdoor party this guy throws every year. It's a barbecue, he puts a pig in the ground, he's got bonfires, and I had to miss it because I had to quarantine. My girlfriend tested positive for COVID. So even though we've been wearing masks and distancing from each other, I just felt like it was too much of a risk. So the following day we played the Rat Run, which is a big biker event, and we played out in close to Alton on the Missouri side. I can't remember, it's Long Shots is the name of the club. And so that was outdoors. Everybody spread out. I stayed way the hell away from everybody. And so I did do that show, but I'm not going to be able to do the next couple of weeks because I gotta stay in until she tests negative. So
yeah, that's crazy stuff, man. I wasn't positive, but my principal at my work, working in elementary school, he was tested positive, and like 3 custodians, 3 secretaries, a school nurse, librarian, 3 principals, like all of us got sent home and to quarantine for 2 weeks. And it was like, man, this is a hell of a way to start the school year.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
But we all, I just like laid up there for 2, sitting around just
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's like, I didn't think
It's
that.
bad for the kids too, man. I mean,
Right.
what a disruption.
Yeah.
So they have to figure out a whole new way of doing things. So
Right.
well,
Yeah.
maybe we'll make them more flexible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had to deal with it, and they had to come around and figure out how to deal with the new way of doing things. So maybe that'll actually benefit them in the long run.
For sure. But you, the SuperJam, I guess this group's been around for several years, right? We got
10 years. Well, was it 10 years this year? It's 10 years this year in May. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
2010 was, it was like May 2010. We were played for a year every Thursday night, I believe it was, at House of Rock. We did that for a year and started kind of catching on. So we all kind of quit our other cover bands and went full time with SuperJam, started playing a lot of weekends. But we've changed a few members. James Wolfe came in about 2 years after we started because Dave Aholt had a baby, and so he bowed out. We've been through a few drummers. Lee Scows has been in for the last 5 years, though. It's hard to believe it's been 5 years. And then Eric and I have been since the beginning. And George just started this January, George Potsos. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a great lineup, man. And yeah, we've had a hell of a good time playing those classic rock songs from, like, we're kind of specific. It's like 1977 to 1983 arena rock.
Mm-hmm.
It all kind of rotates around REO Speedwagon, Smith, Styx, Journey, and Foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the rock bed of our set list, and then all the bands that played, you know, in that era, the arena rock so-called bands, you know.
Sure. That you ever do you still like look for new songs to add to the set list, or do you guys?
Yeah, we're always trying to change it up. You know, we just learned Don't Fear the Reaper. We'd always done what's the other big Blue Oyster Cult song? But anyway, yeah, we've added Sammy Hagar song. So we stay in the genre. Now, we did learn an NXS song, which is kind of a stretch for us, because that's really more of a, I don't know if you'd say new wave band, but it's not a classic rock band necessarily. But, you know, it's just a great song. And we just kind of, sometimes you just got to do stuff because it's fun for you. Eric really liked this song. This one of my favorite songs. So yeah. And it kind of grew on the crowd. Like at first I think they were kind of like, what the hell? And now it seems like they really, they like it a lot better. Like they've learned to like it or something. But
yeah,
it didn't go over great the first time we played it, you know? So we were kind of thinking, is this going to work? We kept playing it. And then, it's been getting great response now. So
nice. How about any Van Halen? You can,
we do a couple of, we do Really Got Me, which is really a Kink song, but we do Change, Nothing Stays the Same, Unchained, you know.
Yeah.
That's a great one. So, R.I.P. Eddie, man.
That's what I was getting to, man. It's a big loss. And, but I imagine a lot of people are going to be making those requests and stuff coming up. And
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, we should throw some more in there. We always talk about learning some new ones, but we've ended up doing a lot of new Aerosmith lately. We've been getting into that. So
yeah, but yeah, that man, you know, like, I don't know. Obviously, everybody realizes he's one of the greats, but it's like, just like since his death and like a lot of interviews and clips and various things started popping up on social media, man, I started like digging into some of that, and I'm just like, it's crazy how he like, how much he changed the instrument and like, you know, influenced like so many people to play and stuff. And
yeah, he looked at it in a totally different way. You know, the hammer-on thing was kind of his innovation, that arpeggiated, where he would just hammer it with his finger. I think that was his idea. I mean, I don't remember really hearing it before he started doing it, and then everybody started doing it. But yeah, he did. kind of create that sound and that shredder. We used to call it shredding, you know, just a lot of notes played with virtuosity, you know.
Yeah.
He was an incredible technician, and he got killer sounds. And I mean, he built everything. He built the guitar, he built the amps. So he got exactly the sound that he wanted because he knew exactly how to do it, you know.
Yeah. I read a story today actually about he I guess something dime he had a yellow and black guitar that he like custom made, and I guess Dimebag Darrell was always a big fan of it.
Okay.
And he kept talking about like getting him one or something like that. And then like when Dimebag passed, he put that yellow and black guitar in Dimebag's coffin and buried him with it. And he said an original needs the original or something like that. And
oh wow,
I don't, you know, I'm assuming it's true, but you know, it's like because I want to believe it, but it's like that's super cool story, and you know, it just kind of shows the character of what
I'm sure it is true.
Yeah, of what Eddie Van Halen, because he seemed like from some of the interviews, he seemed like just a super cool, down to earth guy, and like
absolutely.
There's another interview he was talking about that he's just some punk kid still like that plays guitar and stuff. So like, so I thought, yeah.
And I was so jealous because Valerie Bertinelli was like, oh my God, she was just the girl, you know. You want to talk about obsession. You know, back on One Day at a Time, that show she was on, I was completely enthralled with her.
Yeah. It's funny how those still stick with you though, you know. It's like
she had a really nice tribute to him on, was it Twitter or I guess Facebook. But yeah, pretty cool.
Yep. Well, I wanted to talk about another tune off the EP, and a song called "Give It Up for Your Man."
Yeah.
And this is kind of a little bit more of a rocker, and but there's, I don't know, you were kind of talking about some of those bands, and there's a part in this song, kind of just an instrumental part there, and kind of triggered memory of like what's it, Ballroom Blitz, kind of like
right.
kind of tapped into that for me, and like I just made me smile, and just of course I had to go listen to that song and stuff, and I thought of that whole Wayne's World scene with Cassandra up there and you know, singing that song, and so
yeah. Well, and a lot of it has to do with Obeid's sound too. You know, he's got that really raw 70s era guitar sound, and the way he plays the go, you know, that chugging rhythm, you know. So they were like the ideal guys to get to play this record. I mean, I was so happy and you know, flattered that they would spend the time, because it is, like I say, a labor of love. It's just, you know, you're gonna spend a lot of time on this, probably not gonna see any money out of it, but you know, you're just trying to put some art together, and they were the perfect rhythm section and guitar player to play on this stuff. So I was very fortunate to get them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is
Out of town for nightfall, your lips are so delightful. The way you tease is spiteful. Give it up for your man. Steely eyes on faces, your mouth is so delicious. Your motives are suspicious. Give it up for your man, trying hard as I can. I can't help getting jealous when they get overzealous. Forget those other fellas. For your man. I got you on the spot, can. You're as obsessed as I am. Please don't fuck that plan down. For your man, working hard as I can.
It's another fun one. And again, available everywhere digitally now, right? We got Spotify and Apple Music and SoundCloud and
Yeah.
all those things.
Everywhere you can think of.
Yeah. So check that out. Support this project, and maybe we can get Dave to make us another one here sometime soon.
Yeah. And I also want to let you guys know that there's going to be a second EP with 6 other songs on it. It's more straight ahead rock. It's very much more rock because they were all going to be on one. They all 12 were going to be on one record. And then I just realized that half of them fell into like this groovy, funky category, and half of them kind of fell into this straight ahead rock. So I just split them up. And the first one we released September 4th, I think it was. And then the second one's going to drop on October 30th. So it's all set on DistroKid to drop that Friday. So keep an eye out for that. Check that out. Hope you dig that. I mean, it's more along the lines of the kind of bands I play in.
Yeah.
So, I guess I was kind of try to see how everyone would react to the first one, knowing the second one will probably be more up their alley because it's straight ahead rock stuff.
Where you give them all my best. Attitude is all I get. But it's never enough. It's not the stuff that gets me coming back. Tie a noose around my neck. Burn my body for effect. But my words will live out. Singing a song will keep me coming back. Nothing scares the shit out of me. You can nail me to the tree. Feel the lash across my back. Stick my head in a sack. But I keep smiling inside. I never hide. I keep on coming back. Well, you're burning for something. Ooh, yeah. Well, you know that you can have it. Reach right out and grab it. Oh, yeah. Well, you're burning for something. Ooh, yeah. But you're never gonna feel it unless you let me heal it. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hit the ace for the set. You can meet me at the net. A pat on the butt, a victory strut. I'll shake the judge's hand. Well, I'll admit it was a hell of a match. No one can return my smash. Hell of a try. I don't know why, but they keep coming back. You can beat the shit out of me. All you gotta do is believe. Listen, you can call me Steve. I call you Nicolette. Whoa, where you yearning for something? Ooh, yeah. I deserve another chance. I've been listening to your rants. I'm not so bad. It would be sad to shut us down like that. I know you know I'm the man. I can prove it, here I stand. Let's get in the clutch. It's never too much. You know I want you back. Nothing scares the shit out of me. You can never to the tree. Listen, you can call me Steve. I call you Nicolette. Oh, Nicolette. I love you, Nicolette.
Yeah, man. I like it all. My music taste is very eclectic, kind of all over the board, and so I get into a little bit of everything, and so that's what's kind of fun about this first EP for me was there was a lot of variety in the sounds, and but I mean I like rock and roll too, so
yeah, it's my but up to the funky stuff too. I mean, I was a big James Brown fan, and Chili Peppers, and anybody that had that funk influence, Sly and the Family Stone. And
yeah, man,
I just like that funky feel.
I was just listening to really getting into this podcast called The 500 with Josh Adam Meyer. He goes through Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time, and usually it's him and a comedian or some sort of celebrity of sorts, and he just today, as we're recording this on today, it's a new episode every Wednesday, and today's was album 400, the Temptations anthology greatest hits.
Oh wow!
And he actually got to record with I think it's Otis Williams, their baritone singer.
Oh wow!
From the original lineup and everything, and been
cool.
So like that, he was really really happy to have an original Temptation on to do the podcast with him. And
oh my God, that's awesome.
But he did he just, speaking of Chili Peppers, he just did one about Californication album that was like 401 or 402 on the list, and I don't know, like it was fun getting into some of the stories behind that record. But one of the things I found most interesting that I didn't really I think I had heard it before, but excuse me, they talked about how Anthony Kiedis kind of, I guess, grew up in this kind of crazy lifestyle, and like
LA, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, like, and then they said something about he had had sex with his dad's girlfriend at 12 years old, and had tried heroin by 14 years old or something like that. And I was like,
yeah, he was on the mean streets. I think so. Yeah,
that's crazy to think about. That's
It was his buddy Hillel, the first guitar player. Can't remember his last name right now. But, he was crazy, funky, awesome. But the heroin got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big John Frusciante fan. He's really like his work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he stepped right up, man.
Yeah,
for sure. The badass.
But yeah, those bands are all. I love all that funky stuff too. And anyway, talking about rock and roll, there's another project you're a part of. At least once a year, we have Sean Cannon's Voodoo Players, and you step in and are part of their Led Zeppelin night for the last 3 years now, I think,
something like that. Yeah. Eric kind of got me into that because he's worked with Sean on other stuff, and they asked if I would come and sing a few songs, and Emily Wallace comes and she just knocks it out of the park.
Yeah. That's what's fun. It was so much fun about that night in particular. Like, one, the band is smoking. I mean, like, you got Tony Barbata and Eric Lysick, Big Mike Aguirre, and and then he's just so you got all these like great guitar players, and Sean, of course, shredding over there too. And then you got Emily doing vocals. You got Carrie Liston doing vocals. You got Dave comes in, does a couple songs. And that's what's just a lot of variety in these different vocalists. But that's you guys all like capture different parts of what Robert Plant could do as a vocalist. So that's what's really special about that night. Like, Emily kills it on like Going to California and stuff like that. Those are more acoustic songs, and
so perfectly. And I actually, when I try to sing Robert Plant, actually kind of try to sing like a woman. Like, I'm not sure. I haven't listened to a bunch of his interviews, like who his influences are. But I gotta believe that there's a lot of female soul singers that he listened to, because, I mean, just the way the lilting, there's kind of a lilting quality to the way he sings. Of course, he's way up high, but he's also not afraid to have like a sort of a delicate, a delicateness to the timbre of his voice, and he lets it crack, and he doesn't care. It gives it that emotional impact. But yeah, I've always, when I thought about it that way, I felt like it was easier to try to emulate him when I thought of him as trying to sound like a female singer.
Yeah. Whatever you're doing, it's working, man. Cause that's a fun night. And, I mean, obviously an incredible catalog, but, that's just, and you know that I know they did the first, two, over at Broadway Oyster Bar, and obviously home of Sean Cannon's Voodoo Players every Wednesday night. But you guys did the first two there right before Christmas, and man, it was. I remember working the door, and it was like, you know, at capacity before the show started, and it was just nuts down there.
Yeah, it is nuts to try and even get from one side of the room to the other. It's
yeah.
challenge.
I actually, speaking of Wayne's World, I've got to use one of my favorite lines down there on those nights. And when you know, people show up and we're at capacity, and they're all like, you know, trying to get in, and like, but my girlfriend's in there, and I'm like, there's a lot of people's girlfriends in there. So it's like it's a wild night though, man. But it's a lot of fun, and it's so cool to see what Sean's been able to create with that, and like we kind of think we talked about it a little bit off mic, but they're doing some stuff over there now with Drew Jameson, The Lot, JMO Presents, and they've been doing real well with figuring out some way to do some outdoor socially distanced concerts and stuff over there. So
I'd like to get down there and check it out. I haven't seen it yet. I know they had to shut it down for a few weeks, but it's definitely up and rolling again. So
yeah,
need to look at that.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't been over there myself yet either. I've been meaning to, but just hasn't worked out with everything going on. But it's as people are showing up though, and I saw them announce that the Voodoo Talking Heads shows sold out. The Voodoo Tom Petty show sold out, and
Awesome.
I think the 29th of October they're doing like a 2020 2020 show, like paying tribute to John Prine and all the greats that we've lost this year and stuff, and so
amazing the sheer volume of music that those guys learn. I mean, every week they've got 35, 40 songs
right
from completely different artists ready to go. I'm just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to keep track of songs we've been singing for 10 years. Sometimes I can't remember the lyrics. So Jesus, you know, he must have an encyclopedic mind.
Yeah. No, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
Well, you do have a couple of shows coming up after you get out of quarantine and everything. Hopefully we'll get you back up on stage here soon. And you got SuperJam, like we mentioned, will be hitting the stage at Washy Saloon in Waterloo on October 30th.
That's right.
That's a Friday night, right?
Yep.
And then on Saturday afternoon, you and Eric Lysett are doing a duo gig at Chandler Hill Winery.
That's right.
October 31st. What'd you say, 1 to 4 or something?
Yeah, 1 to 4. And I do have to do a shout out. I won't be there, but Kelly Wilde from Trixie Delight will be singing lead at Salvatore's this Friday with SuperJam. So I wouldn't miss that if I was somebody wanting to see something different, because she's a phenomenal singer. It's so much power. She's always singing like, you know, a lot of Zeppelin and Soundgarden. And I mean, she belts it and she's killer. And Heart, she does Heart just like to a T. Yeah. So anyway, she's going to be singing lead with SuperJam at South. So that'll be pretty cool to see. I wish I could go, honestly.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Because she's killer. She's a great gal. I've known her a long time too.
Yeah, I actually work with her daughter, so it's fun. It's fun that we're like coworkers now. We get to.
She's cool. She played violin a couple of times at El Monstero.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think they did sort of like a Irish Celtic version of, was it Learning to Fly or something like that? It was really, really cool. They did 3 or 4 songs like that.
Okay.
With her playing violin. It was really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Those I love those El Monstero shows. Those are incredible. I've been I don't know. So to tell you the truth, I kind of blew it off for a long time.
Mhm.
I kept hearing it's a great show, but
Mhm.
I had this like just terrible bad taste in my mouth from tribute bands that I'd seen in the past, just like really, really bad ones.
Sure.
And so I like, no, I don't know. I just kept, and then finally I like, somebody's like, you got to go, and it gave me a free ticket or something like that, whatever it was. And I finally went, and I was like, just blew my mind at what those guys were able to do on that stage, and how well they were able to recreate the sound,
Mhm.
to the record. And like, it just,
Yeah, they're real sticklers for like perfection. Like they want
sure.
it absolutely perfect. They try to get the gear, everything to match exactly.
Right.
Sometimes Jimmy will use like a tape loop, or just to get that perfect sound. So they're always honing it, always polishing it, trying to make it better, change it up, learn something a little bit, a deeper cut. They'll always throw in a new deeper cut
Yeah.
too. Just to change things up. So yeah, it's been an amazing thing to be a part of. I'm probably the luckiest member because I basically play the same songs every year. They sometimes throw me a curveball and I'll have to learn a new sax solo, but it's one of the easiest gigs I have all year. I show up with my saxophone, I go play like 3-4 songs, and I'm done. And those guys have 3 hours of music to remember. So,
Right.
but yeah, I'm so fortunate to be able to. It's of course something that's been a blast to be a part of it for 20 years now.
Yeah. So you were there at the beginning of it then?
Yeah, the very first show at Mississippi Nights, I guess that was 99. And then the pageant opened up in 2000. So I believe the second year was at the pageant, and from then on. So, and then it just grew from there. It started out just being 1 or 2 or 3 shows. And then I think we've done as many as 8. I think that's the most shows we've done.
Yeah. Yeah. That, now it's like a, tradition. I take my mother-in-law, my uncles went with me a couple of times, and it's just such a party, and I look forward to it every year. And hopefully, I know pageants opened its doors to some new, socially distanced, very limited cap shows, and fingers crossed we'll have maybe an El Monstero couple of shows or something, maybe closing out this year.
Yeah, I'm almost sure that it's not set in stone yet, but it's they're getting down to brass tacks, I think. So I think it'll happen.
Yeah, but I know, like, obviously, I know they've announced Street Fighting Band, the return of Street Fighting Band, and we got Celebration Day, and the Thunderhead, and a lot of great acts up there playing. So
all good stuff.
Get out and support. I mean, if you're a live music fan, this is as close as we're going to get for a while, I believe. I mean, unfortunately, we're not going to have the big shows for a long time. And
yeah, in the wintertime, I mean, we're going to be real limited. We can't just do outside. That was a way to get away with it. But when it gets cold, we're not going to be able to do that. So we got to figure out how to be safe inside. So that's the way we're going to have to do it, is wear masks when you go in and out, and when you go to the bathroom, when you move around. But once you get to your table, you can kind of hang out.
Yeah. I got a couple of questions for you, Dave, as we're getting into October now and spooky season and everything. What was a young Dave Farver's favorite Halloween costume?
Oh, wow. Well, I remember I had a really good cowboy one that I was really proud of. And I think I did when I was really little for several years in a row. And I had the cowboy boots, and my mom actually says I wore the cowboy boots year round, summer or winter, no matter what.
Right.
But I had the holsters, with the rhinestones and shit, and the guns on either side, the hat, and some sort of Western shirt or something. I do remember that one pretty vividly. That was one of my favorites for sure. And we had the crappy plastic ones, with the bad mask, and then It was just they were so bad. They were so cheap and so stupid. It was a big plastic bag basically, and it maybe had a Spider-Man logo on the front of it, and then the mat, and then that was your costume. Terrible.
I got into like a good run there where like I started playing football in Little League, and I was just like, I'd just be like a dead football player kind of. It was like how lazy is that? Like I don't know. I just 2
years ago I was the Marlboro Man, and I had a trach tube, and I kept smoking a cigarette through the trach tube. That was my outfit that year. Back to the cowboy thing. Kind of morbid, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit. What's your favorite candy to go to candy for Halloween candy?
Oh, Heath. I really like toffee. So Heaths are my favorite, and of course, nobody ever gave out Heaths.
Right.
They gave out those crappy Three Musketeers. Ugh. I hate nougat. What the hell is nougat anyway? Is that really a candy? Really? I mean, it's just kind of a mushy, gray. I just hate it. Because one thing, I don't think anybody knows what it is. Do you know what nougat is? I don't know what it is. It's crap.
It's crap.
With crappy chocolate wrapped around it. So yeah, that was the one I hated, and it seemed like the most given out was Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Snickers. I love Snickers. I was a big Snickers fan too, but Heath was my go-to. I could put parents into it in the line at the grocery store.
I'm a Reese's guy. That's
yeah.
Can't go wrong with some chocolate and peanut butter.
Absolutely.
So, let's see. So I was gonna ask you too. So say there's a Dave Farver biopic someday coming up. Who would you like to see cast to play Dave in the movie?
That's hilarious. Oh, I don't know, man.
Is there anybody got the handlebar mustache still going on?
If the Willie Nelson could play me, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't even. I don't go to the movies that much. I'm always playing on the weekends, so I might see a movie during the week. But as far as like the current movie stars now, I'm trying to think if there's anybody with a mustache and long hair. Yeah, I don't know. I can't come up with anybody. I'm not really up on the latest movie stars. So
yeah,
good. Andy Kiedis, he could maybe play me.
Yeah, I'm sure Bradley Cooper could do it. Bradley Cooper, he did. He actually did all the singing in that Star Is Born movie and stuff. And
that's right. I never got around to seeing that one. Yeah, I need to see that.
Actually, if you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. I mean, obviously, it's been done. It's like the third version, I think, of it now.
Yeah,
the story's been told a bunch, but it was really well done, and he sounds great singing. And speaking of Willie, Lucas Nelson's and The Promise of the Real are the backing band throughout the whole movie. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So that was cool to see Lucas playing in the movie and stuff. And
yeah, I would like to see it. I still haven't gotten around to it. I've heard it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so anyway, check that out. That's my free plug for the movie. I just recently watched Toy Story, and speaking of cowboys, Woody's got his little pull string on him and stuff. If there's a Dave Farver action figure, what would your pull string say?
Where's my saxophone?
Yeah.
Too many times I have left my saxophone. I'm a little bit absent-minded. I mean, I'll just admit that. And one year, it was alcohol induced. It was my birthday. It was my 21st birthday, actually, in Cape Girardeau. And we had played at this little place called Jeremiah's. And it was a little jazz combo. And we played every Wednesday night, I believe it was. And so these guys give me this triple shot of 151. It was in a snifter, a little brandy snifter. It was almost freaking full of 151. and they set it on fire, right? So I'm like, I don't want to drink the damn thing to begin with. I've been drinking all night, and then this is like a death wish. And so I waited too long, and by that time the rim was freaking red hot. So I put it up, I blew it out. I went to drink it and burned the crap out of my lips. And I didn't drink the whole thing because I would have been on the floor. But anyway, so I went outside and, of course I was in no shape to drive. So I was sitting on my saxophone waiting for them to pull around and take me away because I was in no shape to even walk anywhere. And I stood up, got in the car and drove off. And luckily, Cape is a pretty sleepy town. And I woke up and I'm like, oh shit, where's my saxophone? And drove down there like a bat out of hell. And there it was, still sitting on the sidewalk.
Still sitting there. Yeah, I mean, that's lucky.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. That's
I don't know if we're allowed to cuss on there. I didn't ask you.
It's on the internet. You can cuss if you want.
All right.
I probably should have told you that. All right, one more for you. If what's a dream duet or collaboration you'd love to see for yourself or one of your bands?
Well, so I had the girls from El Monstero, Tandra and Ermini. I did a live thing with all the stuff on the Crystal album in the Sawhorse studio, and we videoed it, and that's almost ready to go. The editing's almost done. Because, it's so hard to do a live show. So I'm like, well, let's just video a live thing at the studio, record it really well, mix it and everything and edit it down. So anyway, those girls, I've known for 20 years and, I've occasionally got to sing some backgrounds with them in the El Monstero thing. And on the bus, we do the Springfield, Kansas City jaunt January. And, so I get to hang out with them sometimes and we like hang out in the back of the bus and sing harmonies and stuff. So I've always wanted to do something with them. So I will do this. I haven't gotten it together yet, but I will put together just us three, maybe singing some traditional gospel, just something with some really cool, dense harmonies. And, back in my formative years or whatever, I used to play in a lot of country rock bands, or you do country and like 50s rock, so a lot of rootsy stuff. So there's some pretty cool old country that has harmonies and stuff. I would love to put together a show like that with them. And one of these days I will make it happen. Especially now that we have a lot of time on our hands and now that the records are done. Now I'm just trying to do all the social media stuff you have to do now to get anything promoted.
Right.
Yeah, maybe I'll have some time early next year to do that, just a video thing. I think that would be so cool because those guys have just such great voices and they're such great people. So I've always wanted to put something together with them. But they came in the studio and sang on this stuff, sang some backgrounds for me. So that was a treat.
Yeah. Was that Jason working on that, McIntyre?
Yep, exactly right.
Yeah, he rules, man. He's the man.
He's awesome. Yeah. So, that's probably what I would do is I would go down there. We would work up a bunch of stuff and then do the same thing, do a video live thing. So we'll work on something.
Yeah, I'd love that, man. I'd love that, the harmonies and all that stuff, like especially
a power thing.
Yep.
Maybe just one guitar or just a piano or keyboard or something. Just a little, very sparse accompaniment. I think that would be so badass.
Yeah. That's what I mentioned Temptations earlier and stuff. I mean, that's what I love about that, all those songs and stuff, just like all the I always like to picture myself as maybe being one of the Temptations someday, but
it's something like the Staples family.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's another classic, all the Staples singers. And
cool.
That'll
happen.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. Well, you can get involved with Dave Farver. We got your official Facebook fan page now, Dave Farver Music. And
I just got my website up too. It's just davefarvermusic.com.
Right on. And are you going to do any physicals or anything with this, or maybe when the other EP is ready to go, like put them both together or anything like that? Or
Thought about doing it's just like a thumb drive, a USB thumb drive, and put 2 albums on it because, once you load it, then it's useful. You can use it for whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that and just kind of put my logo on it. I don't think I'm going to do CDs, man. I just don't think, I don't really think anybody hardly uses CDs anymore.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I keep going back and forth on it. I might just do 50 or 100, but yeah, that's so far is the only thing. I wanted to do some vinyl, and then I found out how much it costs.
Right.
Holy Toledo,
Yeah, stuff's not cheap.
It would be cool. It would be very, very cool, but yeah, I think that'll have to be, if it gets around enough and people like it well enough that I think that they would spend a few more dollars for the final version, then I'll do that. Like a premium, swag thing,
Yeah, I mean, especially I think if you do it like something like where the rarity of it, maybe 100 pressing a vinyl or something too,
right.
like.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a whole bunch of them, just 50,
right.
100 like that, like you say. Yeah.
So I like that kind of stuff, just knowing that, this is pretty exclusive thing. And so, but yeah, man, well, I look forward to seeing what's coming up, and especially want to hear the second half of this record coming. So
yeah. I'll send you links to all that so you can hear it beforehand.
Oh, thanks, man. But yeah, this has been really cool, Dave. I really appreciate you taking some time to hang with me tonight, and hopefully we can catch up soon once everybody's all better and everything else. And
right, we'll get past it. It. Hang in there, everybody. Just patience. I think if anything, at least for me, this has been a study in patience, a way to learn what true patience is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because at a certain point, I mean, that's all you can do is do what you can do at your house, of course. But, the only way to get through it is just to wait until they get a vaccine. And
it's
the safest way to go. It's a dangerous thing. It's nothing to mess around with. I've got friends whose father's 59 years old and had no health problems, and he passed from it. Another friend who's a healthy friend of theirs was 54, my age, and he passed from it. So it's nothing to mess around with. It's rare that it's that dangerous, but it is dangerous. So please be safe, everybody.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yep. No joke.
No.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you, Dave. And I'll see you soon, my friend.
All right, Shane. Thanks again, dude.
Thanks, man.
Take it easy.